The scent of burning incense still clung to my clothes, a ghost of Babá Ọlọ's strange shop. I ran. I didn't know where I was going. Just away. Away from the pulsing portal. Away from the old man's voice that echoed in my head without him ever speaking a word. The gateway to run. The realm of spirits. It was insane. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the chaotic symphony of Ajegunle streets. Horns blared, traders yelled, music spilled from storefronts, the familiar sounds of home, yet everything felt alien. I felt like a stranger in my own skin, in my own neighborhood. I ducked into a narrow alley, pressing my back against a cool, graffiti-covered wall, trying to catch my breath. The image of the shimmering liquid glass portal was burned into my mind. Had I imagined it? Was it a trick of the light? Some elaborate prank? The chill that ran down my spine was real. Babá Ọlọ's words, "You've wandered too far from where you belong," replayed over and over. What did he mean? I've lived in Ajegunle my whole life. This is where I belong. Or was it? A flicker of movement at the end of the alley caught my eye. A shadow detached itself from the wall, long and distorted in the fading evening light. It wasn't human. It moved with a disjointed, unnatural grace, like a puppet on tangled strings. My breath hitched. I squeezed my eyes shut, then opened them again. It was gone. Just a trick of the shadows, I told myself. Just my mind playing games after what I saw. But the feeling of being watched didn't leave. It was a cold, prickling sensation on the back of my neck. I decided to head home to the noisy, crowded tenement building that offered the illusion of safety. My mom would be worried. I'd just tell her I lost track of time with friends. But as I navigated the labyrinthine streets, the world around me started to shift. A familiar mural of Felicuti on a wall seemed to weep black tears. The reflection in a puddle wasn't mine. For a split second, it was a face with hollow eyes, like the masks in the old man's shop. I was losing my mind. The gateway. Had it done something to me? Had looking into it opened something in me? The feeling of being followed grew stronger, a silent, persistent pressure. I risked a glance over my shoulder. Nothing, just the usual evening crowd. But then I saw it again. Up the shadow. But a figure standing across the street, half hidden by a bustling suya stand. It was a woman, dressed in a flowing white gown that seemed to clean, cure for the dusty streets of Ajay. Her face was obscured by a wide-brimmed hat, but I could feel her gaze fixed on me. It wasn't threatening, but it was intense, unnerving. She just stood there, perfectly still, a statue amidst the chaos. I quickened my pace, my flip-flops slapping against the broken pavement. I didn't dare look back again. The air grew heavy, thick with the smell of roasting meat and something else. Something sweet and cloying, like decaying flowers. The sounds of the street began to warp, the familiar Yoruba melodies from a nearby bar twisting into a dissonant minor key. It felt like the world was a thin veil, and something was trying to tear through it from the other side. Babá Ọlọ called his shop a threshold, but maybe the threshold wasn't the shop. maybe it was me. Finally, I saw the rusty gate of my compound. Safety. I fumbled with the latch, my hands shaking so badly I could barely work it. I slipped inside. I chanced one last look back down the street. The woman in white was gone. The suya stand was just a suya stand. The music was normal again. Had I imagined it all? But as I stood in the relative quiet of the courtyard, I heard a whisper carried on the evening breeze. So faint, I almost missed it. It was a single word, spoken in a voice that was both melodic and terrifyingly cold. My name? Tunde. It wasn't Babá Ọlọ's voice. This was something else, something ancient and female. I scanned the balconies above, the dark corners of the yard. Nothing. No one. But I knew I wasn't alone. The gateway had been opened, and something had noticed me. Something had followed me out. Adventure had turned into a nightmare, and I had a terrifying feeling that this was only the beginning. The streets of Ajegunle were no longer just my home. They were a hunting ground, and I was the prey. I raced up the stairs to my family's apartment, my mind reeling. What was happening? The masks, the portal, the shadow, the woman in white, the whisper. It was all connected. Babá Ọlọ had said fate brought me to him. Was this my fate? To be haunted by things that shouldn't exist? I slammed the door to our flat behind me, leaning against it, my chest heaving. My mom called out from the kitchen, asking where I'd been. I couldn't answer. I could untell her that her 17-year-old son had just peeked into the realm of spirits and brought something back with him. Later that night, I couldn't sleep. Every creak of the old building, every distant shout from the street sent a jolt of fear through me. I crept to the window and looked down at the courtyard. It was empty, bathed in the pale orange glow of the security lights. But then I saw it. Scratched into the dust on the ground, right where I had been standing, was a symbol. A circle with a jagged line cutting through it. I had seen it before. It was on one of the leather-bound books in Babá Ọlọ's shop. A mark. They had marked me. My curiosity had led me to a door I never should have opened. Now, the creatures from the other side were spilling into my world, and they knew my name. I had to go back. I had to find Babá Ọlọ and demand answers. What did they want from me? How do I close what I've opened? I was no longer just an adventurous kid from Ajegunle. I was standing on a threshold between two worlds, and the ground beneath my feet was crumbling. The hunt had begun. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 2. This is getting intense, right? What do you think the symbol means? Who is the woman in white? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss episode 3. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss what happens next. Stay safe, and see you in the next one.